Hello, everybody. If you schedule any consultation with me between now and this coming Friday, the 22nd of January, you'll automatically get a free 1-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology. You can schedule any consultation of any length, including special offers. And if you're interested in doing this, you can do so through the link above. So there are some things in life that we just can't change, right? If things aren't going the way you want them to precisely, sometimes you can't alter that. You can try, you can certainly put forward the effort, and perhaps you always should put forward the effort to try to make your world flow in the way that your consciousness is telling you that it needs to flow. But you can't always change the direction that it's going. I think we all know you can change your socks and all that other stupid stuff and things like that. Let's talk about some of the other things that you can't change. You can't change everything, absolutely everything in the world. Why can't you do that? Right? Because the moment you try to do that, there's going to be someone somewhere else who wants things in a completely different way. And they're going to push back against you. And then you'll push back against them, and so on and so forth. And that's why we have this great school, sometimes tragic school, of duality that we exist in, which is here to foster our growth, foster our evolution, help us to recognize those things we can't change and those things that we can change. Let's also talk about one really important thing that you can change. You can change your mind about something. You can change your mind and go, okay, well, I thought that perhaps this was a good idea. Maybe this isn't such a good idea and I should try something completely different. Or I really like oranges, but now they make my stomach upset, so I don't like oranges anymore. So it's very easy to change your mind. Some people even change their mind about as often as they change their socks, unless you're one of those people who wears your socks for several days in a row, and then perhaps you don't change your mind that often. But anyway, another thing that you can't change always is you can't change your heart. Now, I know you're probably going to say, well, I have a change of heart all of the time. Here's what I'm talking about. Sometimes we feel something to the deepest, deepest depths. Sometimes over the course of our lives, things just naturally evolve in that particular direction. And then there are some things that are much deeper. They touch the essence of who we are as an individual. And sometimes we find ourselves in life where the part of our heart that we know that we can't change comes into contact with that part of our lives that's pushing to change something else in our outer world to make it line up with what's going on in our heart. And then things don't really go the way that we want for them to go. And sometimes we, give up, right? Give up's a really not such a nice sentence, right? Giving up implies that, oh, I'm a loser, or oh, I did this. Surrender is perhaps a good word, because surrender helps us to recognize that we're not in control here, and that sometimes things are not really for our benefit, even though we think that ultimately they are for our benefit, right? And, I'm not a big fan also of telling people, hey, you've got to let go, because letting go is something that happens naturally over the course of our lifetime. We, push against resistance. We find that things aren't going to budge. Gradually over time, we get into that space of surrender, if we're meant to. And just naturally, we relinquish things because things naturally evolve. But back to that deep core essence inside of you that goes, I know that this is right. I know, regardless of the resistance that's pushing back against me, I know that this is ultimately the right thing. Occasionally, we find ourselves in positions where no matter how much we're wanting that, it's not happening, right? And acceptance is an important thing at that particular period of time. Acceptance doesn't imply losing. Acceptance doesn't imply giving up unless you're in a position where you're recognizing, hey, this is something that is just naturally moving on. But I'm not talking about that stuff that's just naturally moving on. I'm talking about something that is not going to move on, that moves you to the core, that you feel and know you're going to feel for a really long time, perhaps even permanently, that you're going to feel that this is a deep core of who you are, or a deep core of your beliefs, a very big part of your ethics. And it's something that you're going to be working a lifetime towards putting your energy towards changing. When we meet with resistance, with things in that regard, you can get frustrated, you can get angry, and you can get depressed, you can lose your motivation, you can do all of those things. But perhaps at those particular times, a better way to confront the situation is to just accept that right now, even though you see that if things could be a certain way, it would create a better environment for yourself and for those that you care about. Even though you know that, you also have to accept that it's not happening right now in this particular moment in time. Remember, you can't change your heart. You can't change your feeling. You can't change your inner compass. It's guiding you at that particular time. So you're not giving up. You're not losing. You're just recognizing that for the moment, it's time to forge a different path in a different direction. Perhaps that different direction that you're choosing, which maybe at the moment is you thinking, hey, I'm giving up on this, but ultimately you're not. Maybe that detour that you're taking leads you around something and back on track to something else. Maybe it's just a momentary setback. Maybe you're having a stop off somewhere along the road of life and you're needing to just kind of take a break and recognize, okay, I need to regroup. I need to re-strategize. I need to look at things. Whatever the case may be, your anger and frustration and the tension that you feel is only going to exhaust you at this particular moment in time. I'm not by any means suggesting that you give up fighting for something that is ultimately right. But what I am trying to give you guidance on, especially between now and the 30th of January, as Venus is transiting through Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra, and we've got some tense energy lining up between the Sun and Jupiter in Sravana Nakshatra on one side and Mars in Bharani Nakshatra on the other, is I'm trying to guide you towards the recognition that frustration at the moment isn't going to solve your problems. It's not going to kick the adrenaline into action and make you overcome the huge roadblock that you're experiencing. Sure, it might help you to conquer a few minor demons, but wouldn't you be better able to sort those minor things that you have to deal with if you weren't getting so frustrated, if you weren't getting so angry, and if instead you were just getting motivated and continuing to apply constant effort towards the direction that ultimately is right, without letting a stumbling block in the middle of the road be seen as anything other than a momentary detour. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it drain you. It's not worth you getting riled up over. It's not worth you losing your temper over, unless that temper brings you back to center and helps you to recognize, hey, I can better use this energy by just applying it in the direction that I know it's going to be of better use. This isn't the end of the road. This isn't a loss. This is just recognizing that perhaps this battle at the moment isn't going in your favor, but perhaps somewhere down the line, with a momentary detour, it is. And if you could use a little bit of help sorting out whatever stumbling block you're facing in your life, which is going to be based on where these transits fall in your own personal horoscope, As I mentioned, I do offer several levels of astrological service. If you schedule any service with me between now and Friday, the 22nd of January, you'll get a free 1-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, absolutely free. And you can schedule with me through the link above. That's going to do it for this look at Venus's transit through Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra between now and the 30th of January, 2021. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.